Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on how the government is just doubling down on race-based legislation and also how they discriminate against people based on the color of their skin. Now, we've got the ANC and the GNU that consistently tell us, there isn't 143 race-based laws in this country, there's no form of discrimination, and yet in the same breath, they launched a 100 billion rand transformation fund that is only for black, colored, and Indian people, and it excludes young white entrepreneurs. People that could possibly find the cure for cancer or could develop something phenomenal for South Africa. But because of their race, they are just excluded because we're not interested in supporting white businesses. We only want to support black businesses so we can fulfill this box ticking exercise and continue this blatant racism in South Africa. Now, what is really concerning about this 100 billion rand transformation fund is that this 100 billion rand needs to be spent over 5 years. Now, if you work out the numbers, that works out to 55 million rand every single day for 5 years, where this money is going to go into black businesses. Yeah, of course, there's going to be no corruption. There's going to be no funny business. I mean, 100 billion rand transformation fund. I mean, look how great broad-based black economic empowerment has been for this country, right? Trillions of rands, and then literally 100 enterprises benefited from it. That's it. So this is now what they want to further, and Business Tech has got a wonderful article on this that I want to read, so let's have a look. Government doubles down on plan to give black businesses 55 million rand every day for 5 years. I mean, you can't believe this shit, but hey, it's real. It's real, It's not racist, everybody. The government has reaffirmed its plan to establish a 100 billion rand transformation fund to direct large-scale financial and development support to black-owned businesses over the next 5 years. The Department of Trade, Industry and Competition under Minister Parkstyle noted that it has established a revised proposal for the fund. The new version provides better assurances of accountability and highlights that companies will be able to earn scorecard points for enterprise and supply development by contributing to the fund. So if you are racist, you get some bonus points. That's literally what it is. On the 19th of March 25, Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition Parkstyle published the draft Transformation Fund concept document for public comment. The plan effectively allocates roughly 20 billion a year to black-owned enterprises. This amounts to approximately 55 million rand per day for 5 years, or around 80 million per working day, to support the development and participation of black businesses in key sectors of the economy. The fund plans to bring together enterprise and supply development contributions that companies already make under South Africa's broad-based black economic empowerment codes. Yeah, because broad-based black economic empowerment has been so successful in this country. Why don't we just double down and add 100 billion rand transformation fund? The DTIC emphasized that this is not an additional requirement for companies, but a restructuring of how existing obligations are managed. Under the current policy, South African firms are expected to spend 3% of their net profit after tax on developing black suppliers, black industrialists, and small and medium enterprises. So you start a business on your own, you are successful, you avoid government red tape, and then they bring the government red tape to you, where after you've paid all your taxes and your obligations as a citizen of this country, they then come and say, but listen, you must give us 3% of your net profit, to uplift all of these things, because that's your job. It's not our job as the government. No, it's your job as this individual that created this business without government assistance, but now the government's coming to you to help them achieve their goals in order to secure more votes in the next election. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. I'm not going to read through the rest of that, but how is it possible that in 2025 we live in a country where not only do we have race-based legislation that discriminate against people based on the color of their skin, but we also have a government that is now attacking businesses that are employing the vast majority of people in this country. And they are paying their taxes, they are paying VAT, They are contributing to the fiscus of this country. And then the government comes and says, oh, okay, well done. You have a successful business despite all of our efforts to derail it. But oh, by the way, now 3% of your profit after tax, you must please give to us so that we can do our jobs. You know, your tax money is supposed to be used for this race-based legislation, but it's fine because now we want an additional 3%. Oh, and the reason for that is because a lot of businesses have left South Africa. A lot of prominent people that contributed their taxes to the fiscus, they have left this country because of our racist legislation and the way that we run this country. So now we are going to double down on you because you've decided to stay here, you dumb idiot. So now we were going to charge you more because you haven't learned your lesson. You haven't left this country yet. It's absolutely ludicrous. And then if you look at how much money has been spent on BBBEE and what we as this country have received out of it, we haven't received much. We saw a handful of people benefiting where the vast majority of black people still suffer. So broad-based black economic empowerment has been an absolute failure. But hey, don't worry, we've got a solution to that too. 100 billion rand transformation fund over the next 5 years to uplift only black, colored, and Indian people. Screw you, white person, that young white child that is getting his doctorate in the next couple of years that could potentially revolutionize a technology or a cure to a disease in this country. Screw you. Screw you. You're not allowed to get the benefit of this fund to assist you in creating a business that can help the entire South Africa. No. You white. We don't trust you. We don't want your help. We would rather take that money and pump it into some random businesses just to see and say that we have given opportunities to black people, even though it's at the expense of the industry in this country, the various different industry sectors in this country. Because ultimately, it's not the government that's paying for this. It is the companies and taxpayers that are funding this. So taxpayers are funding these race-based policies and this blatant racism towards white people in this country. And this is why I can't understand how these commentators and mainstream media consistently want to tell you that there are no race-based laws in this country, there's no racism in this country against white people, when it's actually in the legislation. It is actually in our laws. But yet, for some reason, it is completely acceptable to be racist towards white people in South Africa in 2025. Like I've said many times, we have more race-based legislation now than at the height of apartheid. The unemployment rate is the highest it's been on record. So that is clearly then higher than what it was during apartheid. The crime rate in this country is higher now than what it was at the height of apartheid. And once again, I'm not trying to talk positively about apartheid. I'm merely stating that such an atrocious system, according to the world and according to me and South Africans, was better than a democracy where we have the ANC in government. And we have all of these racist legislation now that the very same people that condemned that during apartheid is now praising these policies, all under the guise of previously disadvantaged individuals and fixing the legacy of apartheid. At what point are we going to say, okay, enough time has passed? Because it has been 31 years, which means every single year, roughly, the government has R1 trillion at their disposal to use to improve South Africa. Infrastructure, job creation, service delivery. And yet, can you tell me that South Africa looks better and that it is more socially cohesive now than what it was during the height of apartheid? With unemployment, with the crime rate, with crumbling infrastructure and the lack of service delivery. That's what I've got to ask. But hey, to the woke leftists out there in mainstream media that consistently support and promote these race-based legislation, well done. Well done for exposing yourselves, because you had so much to say during apartheid against race-based laws, and here we are today in 2025, and we have more race-based laws, and there's nothing. And then BEE, that's been an absolute failure. Triple BEE or BE, however you want to spell it or say it, has been a complete and utter failure. And you've got mainstream media and you've got businesses that are supporting this 100 billion rand transformation fund. 55 million rand every single day for 5 years that will contribute toward black businesses. I wonder how much of that money is actually going to go to businesses and not in the pockets of political parties or, cadres. That is going to be interesting to see. But once again, there's no racism to see here, everybody. There's 143 laws that discriminate against people purely on the color of their skin, whether they are young, whether they are old. You've got a government that wants to support new business owners, but only if they are black, colored, or Indian, not if they are white. If they are white, they're not interested. And then you've got mainstream media and everybody that praises this amazing government and Cyril Ramaphosa for doing this amazing job at transformation. At what point do we just go, this is blatant racism, and at what point will the rest of the world acknowledge that and fight as hard as what they did in the 70s and 80s against the apartheid state? Well, we won't see that because the world has gone so woke left that anything that is anti-white is considered acceptable. And that is just sickening. And that shows the double standards, especially of woke leftists and the liberal-minded individuals in not only South Africa but around the world. It is atrocious, and please speak up and call this out for what it is, because if you remain silent, that in essence means that you agree with it and that you condone it. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video far and wide. And if you enjoy my content and you enjoy this channel, please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that's all I got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.